What's going on? I am Spartacris here with the Generational Gaming and Entertainment Network. This is my Tuesday show, The Theater Room, and I have a list of things I just kind of want to briefly talk about, kind of short and sweet today. Tomorrow is kind of where the big show starts, and then next week we'll kind of go into a deep dive of it. But we'll get to that. Before I kind of just jump right into it, check out the merch. We got more stuff, more merch coming. We're working on getting everything done and ready to go. We have a website on the way. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, please do so. We have announcements coming up. We have a tournament coming up. We have some giveaways we're trying to put together and get out there. Just a lot going on. And keep it, just so you are aware, we are on all the social medias: Twitch, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube as well, which I guess that's not really social media. We also have a Discord channel, so keep an eye out for that. Like and subscribe to everything, and we are more than open to suggestions on what you want us to talk about, what kind of content you want to see, what kind of games you might want to see us play. We plan on having some competitions coming up soon. Putting together a nice little space so that I can get some of the other boys over and we can, basically I can just beat them at whatever we play and they can just try and talk trash. Some of the other members of the group: ScytheX, TheCaptain, and One Shot. All of us streaming randomly on Twitch. Right now, I'm trying to get through The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I know we do a lot of Call of Duty. I know ScytheX is playing Avengers on PS5. So we got just a lot of stuff going on. And there's a lot of action on the Facebook group, a lot of chatter. And if you are missing out, just go ahead and jump on the Facebook group, Generational Gaming and Entertainment Network, across the board, or GGEN, GGEN, across the board as well. So let's start with last week's episode of Mythic Quest. If you haven't caught up, I won't go into too many spoilers. Not that it was a spoiler heavy episode this week anyway. And I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I was kind of disappointed this week. I feel like season 2 of Mythic Quest has been on fire every single episode, and this one, it was kind of a letdown. I understand. Oh shoot, what did I just do? I understand what I guess the show was going for. I'm not against them trying to flesh out these characters, but I just don't think we needed a full episode on. I can't even think of his character's name now. On the writer's background, I didn't really need to know where he came from. I feel like we knew enough about him, just from the show, from the first season, and just from the things they mentioned. Otherwise, I just kind of thought it was a boring episode. I mean, it was a slog to get through, and it was by far the worst episode of the season. Now, that doesn't mean I'm shitting on the entire show. Season 2, I think, has been firing on all cylinders and just been funnier and funnier every episode. So if you are thinking about jumping into Mythic Quest, now's a good time to do it. It's only 2 seasons in so far. The second season's not even done yet. They're not long episodes. They've gotten funnier and funnier, and it's the idea is it's like The Office, but in a video game company. And I feel like season 2 in particular has really kind of hit its stride with that kind of description. So those are my thoughts on this last week's episode. I'm still looking forward to what's coming, and I think we only have a few episodes left. It's not a very long season, 10 episodes at the absolute most. Season 1, I think, was 11 episodes, but the last episode, I feel like, of season 1 was a surprise COVID episode. So if they do the same thing, we're only going to get 8 episodes, I think, 8 or 9 episodes during the season, and then 1 or 2 surprise episodes as the months go on. But like I said, it's worth watching. If you're a video game fan, if you're It's Always Sunny fan, Rob McElhaney is a main character in it. Ricky Cricket from It's Always Sunny is a main character in it, and he's killing it this season. He's been hysterical. So those are my thoughts on Mythic Quest. Now I'm going to jump to Conjuring 3. I think it's The Conjuring 3. The Devil Made Me Do It is really what the title of the movie is. And so I do want to go into spoilers a little bit for this. So if you haven't watched it, you might want to mute or come back later, or just maybe check out the show when I put the recap on YouTube. But so I'm a big fan of the Conjuring universe. I like horror movies. All kinds of horror movies. I love slasher movies. I love the demon style stuff. I love all of it. My favorite horror movies, like, that get you scared, are the demon stuff. I feel like that kind of stuff, they can really play with your expectations and really get you to jump. Sinister is a big one. I love that movie. The First Ring, or the American remake of The Ring, I thought was excellent. I'm a big fan of it, the remake of the first one. The second one was way too long and not as good. Um, but I like movies like that. It's, to me, I'd rather that over like The Strangers. Although The Strangers was a very good movie, that's not what I prefer when it comes to horror movies. Um, and I like the whole Conjuring universe. Annabelle is good. La La Luna, I think is how you say it, was decent. I thought The Nun, the trailers for The Nun was scarier than the actual movie, but it was still, I think, a decent, entertaining movie. And my opinion on The Conjuring, on this one in particular, Devil Made Me Do It, I did not like it. I was bored for most of the movie, and I can tell you exactly when I got bored. So in the beginning of the movie, it's an interesting premise. I love the little references to The Exorcist with the priest coming out of the cab. Um, you know, up until the I can't think of the character's name now, but up until like the husband was basically, or the boyfriend, whatever, the fiance was walking down the street covered in blood, and the cop pulled up and basically was like, don't move, and he said, I think I heard somebody. It was interesting. The moment that happened, I feel like the pacing just died down. It got so slow and boring. I mean, nothing was really scary about it. It's nothing we haven't seen before, which I guess that's what happens when you have, we have so many horror movies under our belt, especially in this universe. But I just was not a fan of this movie. I found myself fighting the urge to look at my phone because I just didn't care what was happening on screen. And then, spoiler alert, again, I'm going to go into spoilers about this. When the whole reveal that somebody was in charge, and essentially the ex-priest's daughter was the one who was putting these curses and kind of controlling things, it was, I guess they thought that might be a nice, interesting twist, a different kind of formula from the other Conjuring movies. I thought fell flat. I thought it was stupid. She was not a scary threat at all. The one, I think the best part of the movie was literally the Exorcist reference in the beginning and the Shining reference at the end. I got a huge Shining vibes when Mr. Warren, I can't think of his first name now, was walking around with the sledgehammer and chasing after his wife. Like, that was awesome. But the fact that the best part of the movie were your references to other horror movies kind of doesn't say much good things about your horror movie. I was bored. I thought the ending revelation of how they ended it. This is what pissed me off at the end, honestly. The demon shows up. Right at the end of the movie, the demon finally shows up and just to take the soul of the person who was working for him. It was just a stupid ending. I wasn't a fan. So that's just my opinion. Obviously, if you like The Conjuring, give it a shot. And I'd love to know what you think. Again, you can let me know on the Facebook group. We're all very active on there, but we're on all the social media. So let me know. I wasn't a fan of The Conjuring. Devil Made Me Do It. I think the trailers were scarier than the actual movie. So there's my thoughts on that. And so as far as reviews and things like that, that's basically everything. But I do want to go into a couple of announcements I heard and a couple of things I actually forgot to mention last week. There's a new image, talking about video game movies. Borderlands, the movie, is coming out. They released this image on this side over here of it's a silhouette of all the characters. We know Jack Black is in it. We know Kevin Hart is in it. I believe the Scream Queen, what the hell is her name? From True Lies, I can't think of her name now. Jamie Lee Curtis, she's in it. The silhouettes look really good. Everything we've seen so far of the characters look pretty good. I think so far everything we're seeing looks promising. It looks like they have the right kind of energy and the right style, the right ideas going into this movie. But I don't want to get too excited because a lot of these video game movies look great. They have the right costumes. They kind of take a lot of things seriously, but they still fall flat. This one, I feel like I'm iffy with a lot of times with these video game movies because you take a game that has a narrative, a pretty deep narrative, a pretty deep lore, to try and squeeze too much of it into a 2-hour movie is never going to work. But they have to keep trying, because it's there. It's also hard though to take a game like, say, Street Fighter, where the narrative is not really the most important thing, and turn that into a movie and do it justice. So I don't know. There's got to be a balance in there somewhere. And they're getting closer. Mortal Kombat, the latest movie, was a lot closer to doing the video game justice than movies beforehand. I feel like the Silent Hill movie is a really good adaptation of a video game to the cinema screen. But you look at games like Max Payne, that's hugely narrative driven. Besides, it's an action game, but the narrative is a huge part of the game, and they completely screwed that up. Same thing with Assassin's Creed. And I think a large problem is that the games themselves are already telling a movie-like story. They have the writers, the actors. I mean, it's essentially a movie, just you're interacting with it. So I feel like sometimes it's a lot harder to show us something we haven't seen before while retaining the same kind of feeling and essence of the movie when we can't control it. But you know, there's a happy medium somewhere, and at some point we got to find it. The fact that we have talent like Jack Black and Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis in these movies means Hollywood is really starting to take it seriously, starting to take notice. And I know in the Uncharted movie, you got Tom Holland, who's a great actor, Mark Wahlberg, who's a good actor. So we're definitely making progress. It's just a matter of time before we hit that one movie that really nails it home, hits big with audiences, especially people who don't like video games. And you know, maybe Borderlands is it. You know, it's kind of a crazy concept, and maybe that's the one that does it. But I wanted to kind of make sure everyone knew this image is out there and it's worth checking out. There's also closer and more detailed silhouettes of each character, just standalone posters if you want to get a better view, especially if you're a fan of the game. Let me know what you think of these images and what you think of what we've heard and seen so far. I'm not a huge fan of the games. I've played, I think Borderlands 2 was probably the one I played the most. But if you're a huge fan, I'd like to know what you think. So let me know. Besides that, the other big thing was the Cobra Kai season 4 teaser. We have our confirmation that Terry Silver is back, which we kind of all guessed with Kreese's phone call at the end of season 3. And I just want to say, I am a huge fan of Cobra Kai. I got YouTube Premium. I'm one of the few that was silly enough to get YouTube Premium just for Cobra Kai. Fell in love with the first season, watched it a million times. I told everyone I know to watch it. Nobody wanted to listen. Then it came out on Netflix. Now it's gigantic and everyone loves it. It's an amazing show. You don't have to like Karate Kid in order to like this. And I honestly think that if you watch this even before Karate Kid, it'll make you like Karate Kid that much better. I'm a huge fan of William Zabka. Ralph Macchio can go suck a dick. No, I'm kidding. His character Danny can suck a dick. I've always been a Ralph Macchio fan, and I've always been specifically a Johnny fan. So Cobra Kai, Never Die, or whatever else they say. I'm a big fan, and I'm looking forward to this season. We finally have Hawk, Miguel, Sam, all kind of on the same side now. I could care less about Dimitri, and I'm glad Stingray didn't come back for season 3. I'm a fan of Tori, but they got to have bad guys, and I kind of want Robbie. I hope he switches sides by the end of the next season. I'm curious to know how many more seasons I think they're going to do. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the show, but I'm also so scared that they're going to jump the shark and they're going to ruin it, and I don't want them to do that. So, in my perfect opinion, in my honest opinion, I want them to do maybe 2 more seasons the most. The next season could be the All Valley tournament. 1 more season, maybe dealing with the fallout of whatever happens next season, but then end it. I have heard rumors that they're trying to get Hilary Swank to come back as her character Julie, from the next Karate Kid. I mean, that'll kind of round out all the cameos that are needed, but I don't think we need that many more seasons after that. You can't really, you can very quickly dry this well up, and I don't want them to do that. I want them to end on a high note. So, yeah, check out the teaser for episode 4. They still haven't had a release date. So historically, the seasons were on Netflix by January. Clearly, because of COVID, it was delayed. We don't have an official date yet, but I do follow all the actors behind the scenes, and I'm pretty sure they're all done filming at this point. So it's really a matter of time. And Netflix is kind of notorious for releasing a surprise trailer and being like, "Oh, it's coming out tomorrow." So expect that to happen with this also. And then just one other announcement that I thought was interesting is so the Munsters is getting a reboot, and the choice to reboot it is Rob Zombie, which is very interesting to me. I mean, Rob Zombie, I'm a fan of his Halloween movie, the first one. I thought the second one, he went a little too Rob Zombie-ish. I am a fan of A House of a Thousand Corpses. Otherwise, the rest of his movies don't connect with me so much. I haven't watched them more than once. It was like I watched them once and I moved on. I'm interested to hear more about this project for sure. I really want to know, are they going with a campy vibe? Are they trying to make it more of a horror thing? Is it going to have the Rob Zombie stamp on it, or is he going to try and do something a little different? I feel like he's a very interesting choice to be rebooting the Munsters. This is a property that could be rebooted. I mean, I think now's a good time to bring them back, and you can give them a fresh coat of paint and kind of update the characters for modern times. But is Rob Zombie the guy to do it? I don't know. I do know a few people who are super excited about it because they're huge fans of Rob Zombie. I like him and I like his style for the overall, but I can't right now visualize how his style can mesh with the Munsters kind of old TV show, I guess. But yeah, I heard that yesterday. Actually, it's kind of a big announcement. So, and that's gonna be it really for a lot of those announcements. I do just want to throw out there, Luca, which is the new Pixar movie, comes out June 18th, so that's not far away. We also have Loki coming out tomorrow. Episode 1. There's only 6 episodes for Loki, so I will be starting next week. I will do a deep dive into Loki. We'll go into the whole conspiracy theory. I'm itching to get back into the WandaVision mode of like trying to guess what happens. So join me next week. Make sure you watch the show, and we can talk in detail about what we think is happening, how we feel about the show. It's a lot of the early reviews and the early comments I've heard are really good about the show, which is a good thing. I'm a big fan of Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. I feel like they can't replace Loki with anyone else. It's always going to be Tom Hiddleston. He's kind of perfect for the role. So, and he's made it his own. So, I mean, I kind of only picture him in as that character. Time travel plot. I keep hearing it's going to have major consequences on the MCU going forward. So, if you're an avid MCU fan, even if you haven't watched WandaVision or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, you should watch Loki just to kind of get an idea of what's coming. And this answers a big open-ended question from Avengers Endgame. Just as a quick refresher for anyone who doesn't know or doesn't remember, the Loki that's in this show is the same Loki from the first Avengers movie. Anything that happened after the first Avengers movie is non-existent as far as this Loki's concerned. He didn't watch his mom die, or his stepmom or adopted mom. He didn't watch his adopted father die. He didn't fight Hela. He didn't, kind of side with Thor. He didn't die to Thanos. None of that happened. As far as he's concerned, he basically tried to take over Asgard by force with the Frost Giants. He got defeated by his brother. Then he fell off the Rainbow Bridge, disappeared to who knows where, met Thanos, was given the scepter, came to Earth to take over, lost to the Avengers, and was now under arrest and going back to Asgard. And Tony Stark effed up, dropped the Tesseract in front of him. He picked it up and warped to wherever, we don't know where, which is causing a branch in the timeline. It was a lot of questions. A lot of people questioned how time travel was going to work. I think we're going to get a much deeper and a much more thorough explanation starting with the Loki show. So he's a full-blown bad guy, and I'm sure by the end of this show, he'll win us back over to his side. And if anyone can do it, it's Tom Hiddleston. He's that good. Owen Wilson works for the Time Variance Authority, which is essentially the Bureau of Police that makes sure nobody messes with the timeline. One question I do have going into the show is, how come they're not going after the Avengers? Why are they only going after Loki? Captain America went back and forth in time a couple of times. We also have Ant-Man, who messed with time a little bit. We have Robert Downey Jr. messed with time a little bit. And I guess the idea is that Captain America returned the stones to when he got them. And maybe this is one of the threads that are left. But Captain America in particular, when he returned the stones, didn't come back. So he had to have created another timeline also. I know we're not going to see Chris Evans back as Captain America, but I keep saying Captain America. I should just call him Steve Rogers now, because Falcon Sam is the new Captain America. But anyway, the show is about Loki trying to fix the problems caused by him leaving that scene with the Tesseract, which all started from Tony Stark and Ant-Man and all that stuff. So it was a big question. It was a big kind of, people thought it was a plot hole. I kind of always knew that Marvel or Kevin Feige would get around to answering that question, and now we're getting there. So this is a big show. Don't underestimate its importance in the MCU overall. This is huge. So, and then what else is coming out? Fast and Furious 9 is coming out this month. I think that's June 25th. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart comes out, I believe, next week, if I'm not mistaken. And then also remember, E3 is this month. It's an entirely virtual. The E3 conference released a full schedule online, and keep an eye out on the YouTube channel. ScytheX and myself, we're going to be releasing reviews for the different presentations. Sony won't be there because they do their own thing. Nintendo, I believe, does its own thing, but Nintendo already announced their own Nintendo Direct. Sony will have their own Sony showcase, And then so you got Bethesda, Ubisoft, Microsoft is going to be there. A lot of new games are going to be announced. A lot of announcements for current games are going to come out. A bunch of trailers are going to come out. We're going to have a lot of content, a lot of information coming at you. So between Twitch, I'll do as many live shows as I can, and YouTube, there's going to be a lot of stuff. So, keep an eye out. And if you want to kind of be notified whenever a new video comes out, make sure you hit the subscribe button on Twitch, YouTube, and all the different social medias, and make sure you get the notifications as well. That starts June 13th. I believe is the beginning of that. So starting then, we're going to have a lot of stuff flying at you. And that's going to be it. So I will see you guys Tuesday with a review and a deep dive into Loki. We'll talk about the next episode of Mythic Quest as well. Any announcements I'll talk about next Tuesday. And keep an eye out for any streaming we do for over the week. And like I said, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, follow, all the groups, Facebook, we're Generational Gaming. We're Generational Gaming and Entertainment Network across the board. GGEN on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and I'm missing one, and Twitch. And that's it. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. I'm pretty pumped about Loki, so I hope you guys are too, and I'll see you next time.